Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to be changing out the suspension arms on my NC1 track car from a company called Phase 2 Motortrend. Remember in one of my videos, I did a front tie rod end install and I really like their company and I like their products that they use. So I ended up purchasing all of the rear arms for my car. I'm gonna lay them all out and I'm gonna show you exactly what I purchased. So here are the arms, starting with the lower control arms. That's the longest arm on the car. And then we have a upper trailing arm here, rear trailing arm, and then the tow control arms as well. The only control arm that I didn't purchase is this one with the clevis, because that's a newer part from Mazda. It has obviously some mileage on it from the track, but it's still in really good condition and there's really no adjustments there. And it's a fresh bushing in the middle. So yeah, that's the only one I didn't change. I do believe Phase 2 Motortrend does sell that arm, but I just didn't purchase it. And just like the front tie rod end install, Phase 2 Motortrend uses nice quality products. They have a nice ball joint. And then for the rear, it will be spherical bushings now instead of the rubber, or what some other people do is do poly bushings. But for that, you have to take the arm out, you have to burn out the bushings. And I did it on my other NC car and it was a nightmare, so I didn't want to do that anymore. So these are gonna have a lot of adjustment that I'm not gonna really utilize, but I'm liking that I got, fresh ball joints and spherical, bushings for the inners. So yeah, I'm going to start on this side and I'm gonna set up my phone and let's get to wrenching. All right, so passenger side control arm is off. Cool little trick I did is I put the bolt in to kind of make sure these are, as close to centered as possible, to get the control arm, it's roughly about the same length right now. So obviously there's going to be a little bit of adjustments here that are needed once it gets to an alignment shop, but this will get it pretty dang close. So I'm going to tighten up all those adjustments and then put it back in the car. All right, that is the rear lower control arm on. I'm gonna wait to do the end link until I'm done with the other side, but I'm glad I adjusted it off the car to match the this arm closer. So it was easier to install and everything's tight but not super cinched down. So when I take it to the alignment shop, they can easily mess with it. For the eccentric bolt back here, spacer's centered inside of this clevis. So it's not pushing it too far to the left or too far to the right. It's kind of in the middle. So then adjustment should be easier. And already doing that, I think the camber obviously is gonna be way off. So curious to see what it'll look like on the ground and when I put my camber gauge to it. But I'm gonna do the upper arms next and let's do that. So this is one side just about 99% completed. As you can see, I ran into an issue when I was hitting out this lateral or trailing arm, whatever you want to call it. The bushing actually came out with the arm. So I need to go down and get a vise and essentially hit this out so I can put that bushing back into here. And then I can complete this side. But all the other arms are in, the control arm, upper arm, and then that toe arm. So I'll give you an idea of what that looks like versus a side that is stock. I got this one out just to make sure. That's what it's supposed to look like with the bushing still inside there. So I'm gonna go down and try to get that out. And then when I come back, I'll return and start finishing up. So this is one side completely done. This is the driver's side. So lower control arm, trailing arm, another trailing arm, toe arm is there as well. Again, the only one I have not replaced is this one with that clevis, just because it's newer. I bought that a couple months ago, so it's still good. P2M does make that arm, but I'm not gonna buy that one. So Zeta are still doing good. Here's the sleeping bag over them. So yeah, that's really about it. Not a hard install. Again, I tried to make sure all the adjustments were very close to the same length as OEM. So, but I didn't really try to do a theme of orange and blue, but it kind of just worked that way, or yellow and blue, and then the Zeta's orange. But yeah, that's what it's looking like. So the car is all finished with the control arms. Show you an underneath look. All the blue. So I have everything on the car, back on the ground. Once I set it on the ground the first time, I had a ton of toe out and I had almost no rear camber. So what I ended up doing is, and it totally makes sense because I adjusted the arms very close to like the same spec or the length of the OEM arms. But for the eccentrics on the lower control arm and the toe arm, I kind of sent the eccentric in the middle. So what I did now, as the car sits right now, is I put the eccentric obviously the opposite way for the rear camber. So now I added rear camber without adjusting the actual arm. And then for the toe, I was actually, I had too much toe out. So I put the eccentrics back towards the middle and to suck it in. And there's still just a little bit of toe there still, which now a shop can adjust it through the actual rods of the arms. So, and then for the camber, same thing, I can actually add a little bit more camber. But I threw my camber gauge on it. For this wheel here, it's about like 3.5 degrees, which is a little too much. I want exactly at 3 degrees negative. And the passenger side is actually right at 3 degrees, which is kind of cool. Overall, first impressions when driving the car, the suspension feels like softer in the rear, just actual like going through bumps and travel of the suspension, it feels softer. And I don't know if that softer equates to it like working better per se, like as there's no strain or anything like stopping them from going up and down. Because I know rubber bushings after you lower a car and stuff can be a little springy like. So I don't know, it feels good in the rear. I can't wait to drive it again with a proper alignment, but as of now, I think it was a solid purchase. Again, I don't need a lot of the adjustments on there, like literally at all. So, but it's nice to have, you know, fresh ball joints and fresh, you know, spherical ends, which is what I always wanted to do anyways on this car, was to do spherical. I have a couple more mods that I'm gonna video too as well. I actually am going to be doing a kind of a color change per se. So I'm letting the cat out of the bag, but I have new hood vents to put on. And then I'm going to wrap the top, the trunk lid, and the hood satin black. So hoping that comes out pretty cool. I thought it'd be interesting to see what this car looks like with, you know, a satin hood, a satin top, and then the satin trunk lid. I think it'd be kind of cool. And this car has needed hood vents for a very long time. So that'll be in the next couple videos. But that is it for today's video. If you guys like the content, please leave a like, comment, ask me any questions on the car, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.